Fox 29 Props and Locks. Sponsored by Fox Bet Sportsbook.
Hello, welcome to Props and Locks. This is a unique show, serious and fun as well. We offer a special recipe for a delightful meal. We take some pigskin knowledge, we blend it with a little dash of point spreads and player props, and in the end, it just might pay for you to watch. So be sure to download the Fox Bet Sportsbook app to play right along with us. I'm your host, Scott Grayson. Say hello to our experts tonight. Sean Bell will handle the X's and O's. Eytan Shander is our Fox Bet wagering expert. Let's kick it off with the winless Birds. Guys, September came and went with the Eagles going 0-2-1. Now they try and hunt their first win in the Bay Area. Sean, both teams are dealing with injuries to key players. Do the Eagles finally get a win Sunday night?
No, I'm not feeling it at all. I don't think they get a win. And the biggest thing for me is head coaching, okay? I know Carson Wentz has played terrible. He has. But the head coaching is bad, and you can see the difference between great head coaching and mediocre head coaching with the 49ers and Kyle Shanahan. They have all types of injuries, too. Listen, they've missed their starting quarterback. They've missed their top two running backs, their wide receiver, their top tight end, their D ends, their cornerbacks. They have injuries everywhere, yet they're still 2-1 because he's been able to game plan and do things to make sure his players are in the right position to make plays. I think Kyle Shanahan has done a terrific job at doing that, and I think the difference between this game will be Kyle Shanahan will be able to score 30 because he's that good, and he's been able to do so over the last two games. And Doug Peterson seems like he doesn't know what he's doing right now.
Not buying in right there, Sean, for sure. All right, Eytan, Fox Bet has the Niners giving the Eagles 7 points. I'm not saying I expect the Eagles to win, but I'm inclined to take the Eagles and the points. Should I?
Scott, let me save you from yourself right now. That's not the play. The Niners -7, a touchdown favorite at home, is not that big for a team who runs a ton of misdirection and a really complex offense. They have one, if not the best backup quarterback in the NFL. We'll get to the other guy in a second. But as far as the Eagles are concerned, there are way too many injuries. More guys were banged up this week than actually practicing, and it's a long trip out west. I wouldn't touch the Eagles. The play is the Niners -7. They're playing grown man football right now. The Eagles, they're not. Oh, and by the way, George Kittle's back. Need I say more? Niners win this game by 10 at least. Stay away from that bet, Scott.
That's why I'm doing this job and you're doing that one. The legend of Nick Foles, fellas, got a little bigger after he led the Bears to a miraculous comeback last week. Foles gets the start for Chicago this week when the Bears host his former offensive coordinator here in Philadelphia. That's Frank Reich and the Colts. The student takes on the teacher, if you will. Sean Foles has had an interesting career, and that definitely is an understatement. Will he find success now with the 3-0 Bears?
Slow your roll. Listen, this is also a situation of this. The head coach did not want Mitch Trubisky at all. I've never seen a situation where a team goes 2-0. Your quarterback throws for over 450 yards in those two games for 5 touchdowns and only 2 interceptions, yet he gets benched in the third game, never to see his starting spot back. That tells me two things. One is that management wanted Mitch in because, well, they drafted him first overall. And second, because the head coach didn't want that guy and wanted Nick Foles, so he's waiting for an opportunity to put him in. But like I said before, Nick Foles hasn't been great, okay? He hasn't been great outside of an Eagles uniform. So I know he played great last week, but I don't trust him to consistently play well. I think once he plays against a good team in the Colts, he'll flutter out like he usually does.
I agree with you, Sean. I think they were looking for a reason to get Foles in there. Eytan, Fox Bet lists the Bears as a 2.5-point home dog. The total is 43.5. Where do you see the value in this game?
Actually, the Colts. Now, you're going to have to lay a little more on the Fox Bet Sportsbook app at -118. But the beauty of this is that you can win this bet with a field goal. Colts are only laying 2.5 on the road. I don't know what to make of Nick Foles right now in Chicago, especially going up against the one guy in the NFL who knows him better than anybody, and that's Frank Reich. Yes, Sean's right, where Nick Foles' lone success happened in Philadelphia because of Frank Reich. Now he's going up against Reich. The Colts defense has played well. Even in their week 1 loss against Jacksonville, they played well. I'm not there yet, but when they win this game and they cover this line, I think me, Sean, maybe even you, Scott, owe Phillip Rivers an apology.
Yeah, possibly. You're right. If you want to look for some winning football teams, guys, don't look in the NFC East. We know that. The NFC West is good, but the NFC North is the only division in football with a pair of 3-0 teams. Sean, at this point, who is the team to beat in that division in your mind?
Excuse me, is Aaron Rodgers alive? Scott, does he have a right arm? Can he still move? Of course, it's the Green Bay Packers. They're on top. Aaron Rodgers has 9 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 90 QBR, over 800 passing yards. And when you have a running game with Aaron Jones to go along with that, who's going to stop them? They scored over 37 points in each game. The Bears ain't doing that. It's Aaron Rodgers, and it ain't even close.
Eytan, there you hear it. Green Bay hands down. Green Bay and Chicago both have a 2-game lead over Detroit. So here in early October, where do you see the best value in picking the eventual NFC North Division champs?
The odds-on favorite, clearly Green Bay for a reason. Sean laid that out. I'm not going to go against Aaron Rodgers from a football standpoint, but when you look at everything as a whole, stay away from the Bears. That plus 245 is a trap. And again, I'm here to save everybody from that trap. Minnesota at plus 900 is actually intriguing right now. I still think that Green Bay is the best team. Minus 182, you'd have to play one of these Floyd Mayweather bets to make something back. Minnesota at plus 900, that's a sneaky play on the outside. If they can get things together and Kirk Cousins remembers how to throw a football, Vikings could be in the conversation despite this 0-3 start. So Minnesota is the long play, but if you have the cash, Green Bay is the smart play.
All right, we are off and running here on the program. I hope you've enjoyed it so far. Time for us to take a break, and that gives you enough time to download that Fox Bet Sportsbook app. Coming up, we'll check out the rest of the NFC East, and later we'll discuss Andy Reid's red-hot Chiefs. We've got more props and locks next.
This is Fox 29 Props and Locks, sponsored by Fox Bet Sportsbook.
Props and Locks rolls on. Sean and Eytan spent the break trying to find any sign of hope for the NFC East. I don't think they found hope anywhere, but let's explore the division anyway. We'll start with the Cowboys, who host the 2-1 Browns Sunday. Sean, we know Eagles fans have their fingers on the panic button. How concerned should Cowboys fans be about their team right now?
I think the Cowboys should feel fine, okay? They know they can put up points. They know the offense is fine. The defense is going to struggle, and I think this game is going to be an easy one. Listen, I know the Browns are 2-1, but let's be real, okay? They beat the Bengals, and they beat Washington, 2 teams that aren't very good. I know the Eagles couldn't get that done, but those teams aren't very good, okay? Listen, the Browns, if they're going to win, what they have to do is make sure they rely on the run game, okay? A lot of running, 30-plus runs, and keep Baker Mayfield's throws to a minimum. But at the same time, I don't think Baker will be able to keep up with the Cowboys' offense. I think they're going to put up 30 regardless of a win or loss. And because of that, I don't think the Browns will be able to keep up on what the Cowboys will be able to do on offense.
Eytan, an interesting NFL stat here. There have been more points and touchdowns through 3 weeks than any other time in NFL history. The total in this game is 56 points, so I assume you like the over here.
Not so fast. Not only have we seen an increase in scoring and touchdowns in a record pace, but we've also seen the books catch up and the totals catch up specifically. This is one of the highest totals we've seen across the NFL in a long time when it comes to every single game. That's why I take the under here, 56. And I agree with Sean as far as the game script is concerned. 3 of the top 5 players on the field at any given time are running backs in this game, including 2 for Cleveland. They're better off not having Baker Mayfield throw the ball more than 15, 16 times. I could see the Cowboys putting up 30 and maybe the Browns get to about 14, even 17 points. But you know what? That's under 56. Cowboys going to win this game, no problem there. But there isn't going to be as much scoring as you may see. That's why I think the under 56 is the smart play.
All right, there will be a big battle around our nation's capital, and I'm not talking politics, guys. Baltimore and Washington meet Sunday at FedEx Field. Both teams are coming off a loss, but one appears to be a little better than the other. Sean, what's your take on both the Baltimore Ravens and the Washington football team?
A little, Scott? A little?
Just a little.
This isn't going to be close. You never want to play a great football team after they took an embarrassing loss. Baltimore lost to Kansas City. Now they're pissed off, focused, and ready to go. Listen, I said before, Washington, they're going to compete in games just because they have a really good head coach and a great defensive coordinator, but they just don't have the talent. Baltimore is going to come out here and run roughshod over whatever Washington has to do. I don't know the numbers Eytan's about to give you, but whatever it is, I'm going over because I think Baltimore is going to be in blowout city against Washington.
All right, let's pile on that, Eytan. I expected a big spread in this matchup, but it was even bigger than I thought it would be. Baltimore is a 13.5-point favorite. Is that too big for your liking or not big enough?
It's crazy because I'm shaking my head in agreement to everything Sean's saying as he's going through that analysis there because it's on the money. But the only thing I would disagree with is the total. It's at 45. Now, granted, beating Washington by 14 points should not be that difficult, but holding Washington to 10 points should actually be easier for the Ravens. They're coming off that difficult loss to the Chiefs. Everybody's looking at them. Maybe they're a little more suspect than people thought. Lamar Jackson and that defense are going to come out and send a message. I would be surprised if Washington gets over 10 points. So, yes, the Ravens are going to run all over Washington and throw all over Washington, but where are the points going to come from Washington? Under 45.
All right, one more team in the NFC East to visit. That's the New York Giants. The two biggest cities in this country will see two of their NFL teams collide Sunday when those Giants meet the LA Rams. The Giants are desperately looking for their first win while the Rams sit at 2-1. Sean, the Rams nearly weathered back-to-back trips east with wins. They beat the Eagles 2 weeks ago. They almost beat the Bills last week. Let's assume they should beat the Giants. What's your read on the Rams so far?
Yeah, it's going to be a clean sweep when it comes to NFC East teams. They beat the Cowboys and the Eagles. They're going to go ahead and beat the Giants. That's easy money. And they barely lost to the Bills. It took a late heroic situation for them to lose. Listen, the Rams are back, all right? That's a solid team up and down. Jalen Ramsey, you saw the Eagles didn't even want to throw to his side. Aaron Donald, you saw what he does, throwing people from left to right whenever he wants to. And Sean McVay has Jared Goff making it do what it do. I think last year, having Todd Gurley hurt and still wanting to try to use him really held that team back now. Now they have two running backs in Brown and Akers they can give the rock to, run play action, and let Sean McVay do his thing with Jared Goff. This is a solid football team, a 10-plus win football team that's going to go to the playoffs and make some noise.
All right, Eytan, elsewhere with this game, the number is nearly as big as the one we just talked about. The Rams favored by 12.5 points. So where do you see the best value in this matchup?
Giants are the worst football team in the NFL right now. Washington is really bad, but they're really bad in the second half. At least they can put up a fight. There's no fight to be had by the Giants. 12.5. It's already been bet down a half point on the Fox Bet Sportsbook app. I love the Rams to just throttle the Giants here. I don't know what New York is going to do to score. I don't know how they can keep up. There's nothing better than suffering a really tight, brutal loss like the Rams did against the Bills, than coming right back and taking on the worst team in the NFL. It's like getting dunked on and then just getting the ball, clear out, do whatever you want. Not that I've ever been dunked on, right, Sean?
So you guys are all super high on the NFC East this week. Awesome. All right, we've reached halftime here on the program. Sean will receive the second half kickoff. Still to come, hear Eytan's take on the best value to win the AFC title. Plus, Sean will tell you who he thinks will have a bigger night for the Eagles, Carson Wentz or Miles Sanders. Props and Locks is coming right back.
Hey everyone, Carissa Thompson here to tell you about Fox Bet. It's the place to go for insight from trusted Fox analysts who will put you on a winning path. Don't just bet, Fox Bet. Download the Fox Bet Sportsbook app.
This is Fox 29 Props and Locks, sponsored by Fox Bet Sportsbook.
This should be a fun segment, so sit back and enjoy. It's the second half of the program, so Sean, you'll obviously receive the opening kickoff. Former Andy Reid assistant Sean McDermott has the Bills out to an impressive 3-0 start. He'll roll the dice on a 4-0 start in Las Vegas Sunday. Sean, the Bills have had good starts in the past, but not finished well. Is this year and this team different?
Oh, they're different. They are really different because they found a franchise quarterback in Josh Allen. And Sean McDermott, okay, from Andy Reid, he knows what to do with the quarterback. He plays the call to get the best out of his quarterback, and you've seen it so far. 10 touchdowns, 1 interception, over 1,000 yards. This team is real because they have a franchise quarterback now that can make plays and make comebacks in the fourth quarter like he did last week. So, yes, the Bills are for real.
All right, Eytan, the last time the Bills started 4-0 was 2008. Fox Bet lists them as a 3.5-point road favorite. What number do you like here?
Well, I like the plus 100 even return if I lay that 3.5 with the Bills. And I know the hook might scare some people, but there is insanely good value right there to take the Bills on the road. Buffalo, not only is it Josh Allen, they've got a running game now intact. Stephon Diggs has been godsend there. He's been amazing and really been able to move the ball down the field, not just as a deep threat. And then the Raiders are dealing with issues off the field. They're dealing with injuries on the field, almost as many injuries as the Eagles and Niners. I would stay away from Vegas. I don't think they can keep up I can't even believe we're saying that about a Buffalo Bills offense, but I don't think the Raiders can keep up with Buffalo's offense. Josh Allen may single-handedly dismantle everything the Raiders have on D.
Wow, all right, we'll keep an eye on that. Andy Reid and the Chiefs, meanwhile, are picking up right where they left off, winning the Super Bowl in February. They are still undefeated, but here comes Bill Belichick and the Pats. Sean, 1 month into the season, are this year's Chiefs even better than last year's?
Yeah, I think it's championship swag. Anytime a team wins a championship and knows what it takes to win a championship, they come back the next year having all that confidence and all that swag and playing better. And listen, the Patriots, they're very good. Again, I think Cam Newton was slept on. I think he's going to be comeback player of the year. But the problem is with the New England Patriots, that defense isn't going to be as good as it was last year. They're missing several starters who decide to opt out because of the coronavirus. So that defense is going to be leaky. And you don't want to have a leaky defense when you're having to face Patrick Mahomes and that Chiefs offense with Andy Reid.
All right, Eytan, Belichick and the Pats are a big dog here. You haven't heard this often with the Patriots. 6.5 points. Fox Bet lists the total at 52. Where's the best value here?
Pats 6.5. Now, don't worry, Sean. The 16-0 prediction is still intact after this game. I do agree the Chiefs will win this, but 6.5 is a lot to ignore, especially for a team that has now 5 healthy running backs. I'm not even including Cam Newton, who can move the ball really well on the ground as well as now in the air. We've seen Cam really come to form, and I think this will be a big day for Cam throwing the football. Look, the defense has definitely taken a step back when you look at who's not there, but the secondary is still good, and the secondary is still good enough where if you can get to Patrick Mahomes once or twice, that might be enough for a turnover here, and that could decide the game as far as covering. All I need is this thing to cover 6.5 points. I don't need the Patriots to win, which is why I'll roll plus 6.5.
And nobody wants the Patriots to win, right? Okay, let's take a wider view of the AFC. Some of these futures bets are always fun to explore. The Chiefs have looked dominating. Other undefeated teams in the AFC include the Steelers, Titans, and Bills. So, Sean, simply put, are the Chiefs still the team to beat in the AFC?
Obviously. Eytan said it. I said it earlier. This is a 15-1, 16-0 type of team. They're not losing to anybody. And defense is down this year. Defense is down for Patrick Mahomes. What do you think he's going to do with that?
All right, quick and easy. Eytan, Fox Bet lists the Chiefs as the odds-on favorite to repeat as conference champs. I mean, nobody can argue with Sean's philosophy anyway. Where's the best value, though, here, Eytan, in picking the conference champs?
So you have to look, and the difference of what we saw with the NFC North is that the Packers were heavy on minus return, minus 180, 190 up there. When you look at the AFC as a whole, the Chiefs are still getting you a positive return at plus 190. You're nearly at 2-1 to take the odds-on favorite, and I think everybody's favorite, to go on and represent the AFC in the Super Bowl. If you were looking for one other team, I would stay away from Baltimore because we just saw head-to-head what happened. Pittsburgh, I'm just not sold that they can do it. New England won't be able to beat head-to-head Kansas City. There's Buffalo, plus 1,000. They really intrigue me. There's definitely worth some interest and maybe some value for a flyer at plus 1,000, but smart money says if you can get a positive return for Kansas City, you keep pounding that until elsewhere.
So you just bet them both, right?
Well, yeah, why not? You can hedge a little bit.
Former Temple head coach Matt Rule is still searching for his first home win as an NFL head coach. Rule and the Carolina Panthers host the Arizona Cardinals on Sunday. Sean, do you think Rule will find success in the NFL? And how do you think the Panthers have adjusted without Cam Newton?
Listen, the talent isn't the same because it's not just not Cam Newton. It's without Christian McCaffrey, the best running back in the entire league, right? So what are you going to do to keep up with the Arizona Cardinals in that offense with DeAndre Hopkins, with Kyle Murray running around making plays? I don't think they have enough in Carolina. Listen, I think Matt Rule will do okay. I think he's a solid head coach. I think he made solid things happen last week in getting a win. Teddy Bridgewater is safe, but Teddy Bridgewater isn't a superstar, and he doesn't have a team around him like he did with the Saints in order to get it done. He can't do everything, and that's why it's going to be a loss this week and another struggle.
All right, Eytan, Rule and the Panthers are a 3.5-point home dog here. Which side of that line do you like?
Arizona, minus 3.5. Another example here of an even return, plus 100. This all comes down to the quarterbacks. DeAndre Hopkins will always be the tiebreaker, but Kyler Murray right now is showing how special he can be, not only with his legs, but with his arm. And then we have Teddy Bridgewater, only 2 touchdowns this entire early start to the season. He's playing well, but they're not transferring over into scores. That's why the Cardinals are going to win this game convincingly.
All right, guys, time for our final break. On the other side, we'll go back to the Eagles-Niners game. Sean and Eytan will explore this question. Who will have a bigger game, Carson Wentz or Miles Sanders? That's next when Props and Locks returns.
This is Fox 29 Props and Locks, sponsored by Fox Bet Sportsbook.
We've hit the fourth quarter here on Props and Locks. Crunch time for Sean and Eytan, and a fun prop from Fox Bet here. Who has the bigger night for the Eagles, Carson Wentz or Miles Sanders? Sean, they will both obviously have to play well for the Birds to win this game, but who has the bigger night in your mind?
Who has the bigger night? I mean, that's the question. Who should have the bigger night and who will is two different things. And I think Carson Wentz needs to have the bigger night because he has to play well, because I think the 49ers are going to score 30-plus points in this game and be able to get it done. I think Miles Sanders is actually one who has the better game. I don't have faith in Carson Wentz. He's inaccurate right now. It doesn't feel good.
All right, Eytan, two props here, one for each guy. Wentz, 250-plus passing yards and 2 or more touchdowns, or Sanders, 100 or more rushing yards. Are you buying one of those or selling both?
I'm buying Wentz, selling Sanders. Let's just look at Miles Sanders real quick. The game script, how this game will play out. The Eagles will have to be ahead in order for him to hit the century mark. Stay away from that, despite it looking at plus 400. Now, as far as Carson is concerned, 250-plus and 2 TDs. He's going to be throwing a lot. The Eagles will be behind and down big. Carson Wentz, even if it's not deep down the field, you'll see a lot of opportunities to throw the football. One to Ertz, one to Greg Ward. I'm good.
Eytan, let's stay with you. We typically discuss a bet boost at this point of the show, but we're going to go in a different direction this week.
Yeah, you can bet the Eagles to win risk-free money back as a free bet if they lose, up to $50. So think about this. This is the biggest no-brainer. If there is going to be a major upset with the Philadelphia Eagles, it would be Sunday night. It's a risk-free bet on top of that, up to $50. Why not put some money out there, bet a unit, and see if, in fact, the Eagles can shock the world?
All right, that does it for this week's Props and Locks. A programming note for you. We move to Thursday nights at 7 starting next week. Consider it your appetizer to the feast that is Thursday Night Football on Fox. For Sean Bell and Eytan Shander, I'm Scott Grayson. Thanks for watching.